Hello there, I'm Joe, and welcome to This Month in Movies. Today we're looking at the DVD and Blu-ray releases of April 2016, so why don't we get right into it?
Let's get to it.
Like I always say, these are just Australian Blu-ray and releases. I know some of these ones are already out in the States or the UK and other places in the world, and some of them aren't coming out there yet. But I live in Australia, so this is what we've got. And of course, these are just my recommendations. There are other films that come out this month that I just don't recommend. Either I didn't see them, or didn't like them, or just didn't hear any good things about them. But these are ones that I liked and enjoyed, and maybe some that I've just heard really good things that I didn't get the chance to see. But anyway, why don't we get started? For the first week of April, why don't we get started with the Peanuts movie?
The Peanuts movie.
Directed by Steve Martino, and of course this is from the world of Charles Schultz, and this is of course Charlie Brown and Snoopy. And it was one of my favorite animated movies of last year, and for me, this was an absolute delight. It did everything the show did, everything the comics did perfectly, and it is just a wonderful, wonderful film. The voice cast is great, the animation was gorgeous, I love how they made it look 2D, but it's 3D. And I really love this film. It just really got me, and the feels. Charlie Brown is me in so many ways, and it was just incredibly relatable, but touching and heartwarming, and it just has a really good message. And that is to be kind to one another and try your best. And of course, these are very vague themes, but the way it handles it, it just does it on a really human level. And of course, it's actually really funny too, and I loved a lot of the humor, a lot of the gags. The weird thing is the Snoopy stuff is probably the stuff that they really didn't need in the movie. So I really love that this was a Charlie Brown movie, and I loved it. 4 stars for me. Easy, definitely go check it out. Also in the first week of April, we have In the Heart of the Sea. Directed by Ron Howard, this, of course, follows the events of what ended up inspiring Moby Dick, and it stars Chris Hemsworth, and you have Tom Hollander, and a few other familiar faces like Benjamin Walker, and it wasn't entirely critically well received, and it was delayed quite a bit from its original release, but I actually really enjoyed this film on a visceral level. Sure, the storytelling isn't as great as it could be, there's stuff that's overwrought, but on a visceral level, the thrills, the sequences with the whales, I was really entertained by this film, always engaged, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I think that it is a bit underrated. I'm sure it's not great, and sure it's not the Oscar bait that they thought it was going to be, but I still really enjoyed this film and was really engaged by it on a visceral level. You're really experiencing the storm, the craziness, and just the starvation of this crew, and I really liked it for that. I thought it was really well acted, even though Hemsworth's accent goes in and out sometimes. I think they all did a good job. It's well shot, the CG is really good. I just thought it was overall a really, really good film, and so I definitely recommend it. I think I gave it 4 stars in my original review. I'd probably give it 3.5 now, but I still think it's a really good film, and you should definitely go check it out.
We will survive.
Lastly, for the first week of April, we have Creed. Creed was in my top 10 movies of 2015, and I absolutely love this film. I teared up several times. I think it's wonderfully, wonderfully done by Ryan Coogler, the director, and I just think it was brilliantly directed. The cinematography is gorgeous, the acting is fantastic, Michael B. Jordan's great, Sylvester Stallone is fantastic. It's just a great, great film. And just the story, sure, it kind of does what The Force Awakens should have done, and we'll talk about that in a second too. But it takes the old formula of like the original film that came before it, and it makes it artful again and really human. It's a great, great drama, even more so than it is a boxing film, and I think it balances the boxing and the drama fantastically. And it's probably my favorite film of the Rocky franchise, to be honest. I thought the music was great from Ludwig Göransson, who did the music for the TV show Community. And I really love this film. I loved so much about it. I think it's exciting and engaging and just really emotional and powerful. And so I definitely recommend it. 4.5 stars for me, easy. Definitely go out and check Creed if you already haven't. And if you loved it, now you can buy it.
Now show me something.
In the second week of April, we have Star Wars The Force Awakens. directed by J.J. Abrams. It's a continuation of Star Wars franchise. And it undoes all the bad work of the prequels. Stars Daisy Ridley, of John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher. There's so many familiar faces. You have Adam Driver. It's a great cast and a really well done blockbuster. Though I don't think it's as great as the original films, I still really enjoyed this film as a blockbuster. It's really entertaining, the action's great, I love the cinematography, the music, the actors. It's a really well done film. It's just very by the numbers for a Star Wars film when it could have done something incredibly different and exciting. They kind of retreaded A New Hope a lot. But at the end of the day, I still enjoyed it. I really enjoyed these characters and I can't wait to see them on a new story that isn't following the same kind of formula. And I'm really excited for the next one, but I just think it's a really good blockbuster. It's really entertaining and fun for a movie that's as long as it is. It's really well paced. The speed just keeps going and going. It's really quick. But it could have been more original, but at the end of the day, I still really enjoyed it. So I give it 4 stars. Definitely recommend, especially if you like Star Wars. Though I know it definitely has its detractors as well.
The Force, it's calling to you.
Also in the second week of April, we have 99 Homes. This film is pretty damn brutal. It's kind of like The Big Short with the comedy, because you're looking at the view of the people that lost their homes and not the one that were playing the stock market. It's a great film and really brutal, engaging and bleak and just emotional, and it was directed by Ramin Bahrani, who has done some pretty great independent films, and this one stars Andrew Garfield, Michael Shannon, Laura Dern, and it's just a really great and important film. Especially dealing with the financial and housing crisis. I think that it's a really great examination of what happened to the people that lost things. And it's very emotional. I definitely got stirred up quite a bit, and it's definitely sad and bleak, but it's an important film for great drama. Phenomenal performances. Garfield's great, Michael Shannon's fantastic, Laura Dern's good as well, and I really like the cinematography and just the music. It sounds like a thriller even though it's this drama, and it's great, and I absolutely enjoyed it. So I definitely recommend checking this film out. 4.5 stars from me. Highly recommend, even though you definitely have to be in the right mood for this one, because it's not exactly a happy watch.
America doesn't bail out the losers.
Also in the second week of April, we have Mississippi Grind, which I actually didn't get a chance to see. It didn't end up showing in my city, but I've heard good things. Stars Ben Mendelsohn and Ryan Reynolds, and apparently Ben Mendelsohn is phenomenal and Ryan Reynolds is great, so I'm kind of keen to check this out, so maybe you might be too. In the third week of April, we have The Assassin. The Assassin is a great Chinese movie, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the cinematography is stunning, and it looks like it was shot back in the 80s or the 70s, and not in a bad way, in a gorgeous way. Production design is absolutely stunning. I love the colors. It's just a gorgeous looking film, and it also has some great martial arts action. And I really loved a lot about this film, and even though like it's very slowly paced, to me I was just engaged, and I loved like the way it takes the mythology of these kind of kung fu kind of action films, and this is kind of a great film about somebody with conflict and who's torn between these different worlds. I think it's a great Asian film, and just a great film in general, and it's full of great action, great drama. It can be a bit more on the drama side than you might like, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit, and the themes that it dug into. And I just think it's a beautiful film. The music was absolutely stunning as well. I loved a lot about it, so I'm going to give it 4 stars, mainly because it is very slow, and it might not be the most engaging film if you're a bit too used to Hollywood.
见到无情.
Also in the third week of April, we have The Lobster. Directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, and it stars Colin Farrell, Rachel Weisz, you have John C. Reilly, Ben Whishaw, Lea Seydoux, Olivia Colman. What this is one of the most original films we've had in years, and basically it's set in a world where if you're single, you have to go to a kind of resort, and you must find a new partner within a certain amount of days, or you'll be turned into an animal. And It's called The Lobster because Colin Farrell's character wants to become a lobster because of their fertility. And basically this film is an analysis on relationships, and it's a really brutal and also really satirical look at relationships and the world's idea of love. And I think it's pretty intense in the way that it really does tear down like the way the world views how people should be, what relationships should be like. I think it's a great film. It's gorgeously shot in all natural light. I think the actors are fantastic. I love the script. It's incredibly witty, satirical, and just great. It has these great kind of like perceptions of things, which I think is wonderful. But it definitely won't be for everyone. It's a bit on the slower side with pacing, but the originality and just like the way it's just able to see these things in a different way and present them, I think is fantastic. I definitely recommend this film. I give it 4 stars, but mainly because it is a bit sterile and it did keep me in a bit of a distance as I was watching it, and I really would have loved it more. Maybe I will on a second viewing.
A lobster is an excellent choice.
In the last week of April, we have Suffragette.
I take my love, take it down.
Suffragette is, of course, based on the suffragette movement, and is very inaccurate, but it's still a pretty good film because it is mostly about this one person, played by Carey Mulligan, who is Helena Bonham Carter. Meryl Streep shows up for one scene. You have Brendan Gleeson and Mary Duff, and a few other familiar faces, and it's a great cast, and I really enjoyed this film. On a character level, because Carey Mulligan's character is very engaging. You understand her pain and her struggle. There's a lot of historical inaccuracies, but at the end of the day, what it is preaching is equality, but the way it does it is, like, technically these were terrorists, and so I don't support terrorist acts, but I get why they were doing it, but it doesn't make it alright, so I'm kind of conflicted in that sense. But I thought it was a well-made film, so I think Sarah Gavin directed it really well. The handheld cinematography did get a bit annoying because it was just a bit too handheld. The film I originally gave it 4 stars, but I'm going to give it 3.5 now, just because the more I thought about it, the more issues I had with certain parts, but I still think it's a good film, engaging, and I'm sure it'll be inspiring for women.
Never give up the fight.
And lastly, for the 4th week of April, we have Youth. Now, Youth is directed by Paolo Sorrentino, who did The Great Beauty, which won an Academy Award a few years ago, and is a really good film. And Youth itself is a really good film, though I don't fully think I've grasped it completely. I think that it's a really well-directed film. I love the cinematography, it's gorgeous. The actors are great. It stars Michael Caine, you have Harvey Keitel, Rachel Weisz, Paul Dano, Jane Fonda, and I think it's a really good film. I just don't really think I really got what it was all about, but I enjoyed it. It's about this composer who's kind of taking a retreat and on this mountain, and I think that it's a really engaging film. It is a bit long, but overall these characters and just the feeling of it all I really enjoyed, but like I said, I didn't really completely grasp what this film was all about, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the music. It's great, of course, because it's about this musician, and I just thought it was lovely. And so for that, I gave it 3.5 stars. I think it's a good film.
It just is.
So these are just my thoughts and opinions. If you have any thoughts and opinions on the films I talked about, feel free to comment below. You can go to my face page, like that, comment there, follow me on Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. But anyway, like I said, this is just Australian releases. These are just my thoughts and opinions. There are other films that did come out that I just didn't recommend, but these are the ones I do. I hope you enjoyed this month in movies for April. I'm Joshua Cho, this is Jared Productions, and just get out there and check out some of these really cool films.